It's time for TV Skywriter. Greetings, everybody, and welcome to TV Skywriter, very special weekday edition. And I'm Patricia A. Murray. I publish Durham Skywriter, this Durham's online community paper. And today, with TV Skywriter, we're going to have an adventure. This is my first deaf guest. I'm only pointing out that she's deaf because I knew someone who grew up in a wheelchair and was hurt when he realized that President Roosevelt was in a wheelchair and he didn't know it. He said he could have used the inspiration when he was a kid. So that's the only reason I'm mentioning that. So Hadassah Patterson is with Kathy Dunn, who will appear later, at the Midway Community Kitchen in Chapel Hill. And she's going to tell us about gluten-free eating and gluten-free lifestyle. So welcome, Hadassah Patterson.
So as far as my background and where I'm from, my culinary background, my traditions come from this area. My family's from the Piedmont. I'm a Durham native, but I also have family from Chapel Hill, Orange County, and Chatham County, the Pittsburgh area. A lot of farming background. So seasonal, sustainable, local food is very, very important to me. I'm very passionate about local food scene. And I think that really came a lot from the coverage that I did of the Durham Farmers Market. I was still in banking at the time. I spent about 14 years in banking before I started to go to culinary school. And it was local, like small community bank. And we dealt with a lot of small businesses. But I knew that my passion was really with food. I started cooking at the age of 5. I spent most of my time in the my father started teaching me how to make frying egg over easy. It was the first thing I learned how to do. So I just spent most of my childhood in the kitchen. We did a lot of volunteer events, community related, nonprofit, religious kitchen help. Whenever someone needed help, my family would show up. So I spent most of my time, dishwash and customer service and cooking and chef helping and, guys that were veteran chefs most of my life. So that was what I did in my fun time. So with the banking, I recognized that it wasn't really where my passion was. It was something that I got into for the security of it. And then I started spending more time at Durham Farmers Market and doing writing on the side. And it was my happy place, You go and you see the entire city walking in front of you, your moms and dads and kids and people from every walk of life, all different shapes, sizes, and colors. And it's such a beautiful experience to have, to be there on a regular basis. I would be there every week talking with the farmers and organizers and, just getting an idea of what it's like for producing food from the ground up. And it was a fantastic experience. I did that for, I guess, about 2 or 3 years, and developed a lot of great close relationships with local farmers. So that was a good experience to have, before going to culinary school. I went to culinary school at Wake Community College. And I did a culinary degree as well as hospitality management while I was there. And then, opens your eyes to all of the different possibilities. So it takes a while to decide which particular field you want to go into. There's so much you can do in the food world. So I've kept up things on different levels. I kept up with food writing. I kept up, kitchen work, and started doing some consulting with my business on the side, because once I saw the management side of culinary, I understood how well my banking experience would meld with that. So it was a pretty harmonious thing. It took a while for everything to click, and I recognized, oh, wait, this isn't completely new. I did a lot of bookkeeping in my banking background and dealing with corporate level customer service. So it all fits together pretty well. Most people are like, oh my God, how do you do all of that? Do you ever sleep? But I'm like, yeah, I can sleep. But it's a great life to be so involved, with food. That's really what I was really meant for, I can tell. So I got into gluten-free as a personal journey. It was something that I did for my own health, out of necessity. Then I started learning a lot more about the gluten-free community and how they are affected in various ways.
Oh, what is gluten free?
Well, it's a pretty complex issue for people to face because you have celiac disease, you have non-celiac gluten sensitivity, you have people who have wheat allergy, and then you have a whole host of gluten affected disorders that are related. People may just be you have cross reactivity to other things. If you have a gluten problem, maybe milk or dairy, and it can get pretty complicated. Gluten, as bad as it relates to celiac disease, a person who has celiac disease is affected by the damage to the small intestine, and that's one of the key markers of celiac disease. About 1 in 100 Americans now are affected by celiac disease. That number, yeah, 1 in 100. That's gone up. 4 years ago, when I first did the research for World Gourmet Society, I was writing articles for food professionals to get familiar with gluten and how to deal with it in the establishment. And about 4 years ago, it was only 1 in 133. So I went to celiac.org, and now that number has gone up. So either people are becoming more easily diagnosed or more aware of what those symptoms are. Maybe doctors are becoming more aware, or it really is becoming more prevalent. But you see it everywhere now. You see, oh, that's gluten free. Is this gluten free? People get a lot of questions in the restaurant community. So for someone who has celiac, it's a very, very serious matter. It's not a laughing matter at all. They have a whole host of symptoms. A lot of pain, inflammation. I've seen people whose abdomen swells until they're pregnant, like 3 or 4 months pregnant, just from some sheer inflammation from being exposed to gluten. So it's very important that people understand cross-reactivity is a big problem. Cross-contamination is a big problem. With your prep surfaces, you have to make sure prep surfaces are clean, or put things down so that they're not exposed to whatever else might have been used there. It's very, very serious. For someone with celiac, they might also have a lot of other autoimmune issues to deal with, because the longer they go undiagnosed, the more the body has been reacting over a longer period of time. So I was actually finding out there's a 1999 study that was done, I think it was Ventura et al., and it showed that there's a whole list of autoimmune disorders from multiple sclerosis, diabetes type 1, anemia, all of which can be traced back to long-term gluten exposure for someone who's actually celiac or possibly, non-celiac gluten sensitive. So it's very important that people get diagnosed and start getting treated early.
Okay.
But it does a lot to it. There's a lot to it.
Okay.
So
Right now you're at the Midway Community Kitchen in Chapel Hill. So can you tell us about the class that you'll be teaching?
Well, with my cooking and what we have going on, the class that I'm doing is going to be focused on gluten-free Asian takeout. It's one of the most difficult cuisines for someone to access who has gluten issues, because soy sauce, which is one of the most commonly used ingredients, is normally brewed with wheat. So to find a place that understands gluten issues really well and celiac issues, and also has gluten-free soy sauce, which is like something like this. It's made with 100% wheat tamari soy sauce. It's 100%. I'm sorry, 100% soy. So they're certified gluten-free, and the flavor is a bit more intense because of that, because it's not mixed with anything. So you really have to know how to cook with it and how to go about things well, with the Asian food. I've also found that a lot of those who are my friends who are celiac, when they go out, they're dealing with the flour. It's being used for a lot of the coatings in the batter. So it's kind of on every level. It's very difficult to find a place where you can safely eat Asian food. when you're out and about with friends and everything, and you want to hang out and be just like everybody else, but you're still dealing with this issue, you know. So I thought this would be a good jumping off point for some of the gluten-free classes that we have. Hopefully we'll do well. It's Saturday, July 23rd, here at Midway Community Kitchen from 6 to 9 p.m. We'll have a dedicated gluten-free walk for people to practice on if they can't bring their own. But I do recommend that people go out and purchase one because I think a lot of times there's so much more that you can do with it. With stir fry, you have the availability to do a lot of like easy summer dishes and very light style cooking, which is a lot more conducive to not having to turn on the oven or roast something or casserole. So I think that's something that people will appreciate, you know. But what we have today is general stove, and it's gluten-free general stove. And I've got the chicken already cooked. Thank you. It's not when you cut off for me, it was just 5 minutes ago. Ah, there it is. Oh my goodness. So I've got the chicken, it's already been cooked off a bit. You want a nice crispy coating on there, a nice golden brown coating. And I use a flour and starch blend with that. Then I was going to more in depth with the class, but you need to fry that off and so it gets nice and crispy. And then we'll make the sauce. So if you're ready, we'll go ahead and make the sauce now. Okay, so I'm starting with, let's get this good in here. It's Chinese rice. This is a really neat gadget that I found actually I feel about. But it's easy to add everything around. Nice and portable. So I've got ginger, like more ginger. Mixed rice. Definitely. The flavor and the aroma of sesame is amazing. I just know so good. I couldn't sesame is so good. You want to get a nice deep color. A lot of times people think that the color in the general sauce comes from a lot of other sauce. You know, some they use like a little, I don't know, ketchup or some other place, type of sauce or something like that. But it's really coming from the soy sauce, really. Okay, so I'm adding the Chinese red peppers. I like to get them from Lee Main or there's several stores in the area where you can get Chinese red peppers. Too. And some red bell peppers, like sweet bell peppers, green peppers, and some orange peppers. A little bit of scallions, like green onions. And what kind of I like honey or a little brown sugar. Not too much. A lot of times when you go out, they use so much sugar, but it's almost like candy sweet when you get the general sauce, scallion chicken or orange chicken, honey chicken. It's very sweet. I was trying not to use a lot of sugar with gluten-free cooking because people already have digestive issues. So you want to kind of be aware. And some people may be trying to avoid juice. They might be trying to avoid sugar. They might have small intestinal bacteria all over like they call it fever. So they might actually literally be trying to avoid sugar and a lot of sugar. So it's also coming in of the lifelong. And it's reducing a little bit. And so basically, you're just going to toss the chicken and sauce.
It looks so good.
And we got a lot of nice color and the flavor, the aroma, and it just really comes out beautiful. Whenever I cook for my family, they walk in the house and like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Are you making soup? What are you doing with that? So I like it, it's sweet from time to time. I want to talk a little bit about this garlic. The garlic that I use, I got this from the local farmer's market. It was a Chapel Hill farmer's market on my way to work. This is lotus garlic that I got from one of the farmers there. They were explaining to me that the flavor is a bit more mild. The traditional garlic you get in the grocery store is very spicy, has a lot of heat. So with this, I knew with the General Tso that it's already going to have some spice with the red chili. So I was looking for a garlic that had a little bit more mild flavor and it has a more balance. So it was really neat. It had the texture is a little bit different from regular garlic. It has a really crispy, like clean kind of texture.
Okay.
So I've got some like already.
This is making me so hungry. I haven't eaten yet.
Yeah.
Hi, Kathy Dunn.
Hungry.
I know.
This looks amazing. I can't wait till you see it. It's there's a mirror here, but it might be hard to position it, so we'll just hold the plate up.
Okay. Okay.
It's gorgeous, and not to mention it's really good.
Tell me about the Midway Community Kitchen.
Okay, I'm Kathy Gunn. I'm the owner and founder of Midway Community Kitchen. I'm from Durham, North Carolina, originally. It's my hometown. I was born and raised there on a tobacco farm. So I've always been around food. We've always had gardens and food. I worked at Magnolia Grill for about 10 years as a chef there. And I got out of the food business. I started a family. My kids started going to school, and I saw the kind of foods that were being served to the kids in school, and I really got bummed out. So it made me want to get involved with what people are eating now. So I worked towards changing the food in schools. We've gotten a better food service provider. They're working with us to really get some more healthy food for the kids. But my main goal is just to get people back in the kitchen. I want people cooking again. I think that's a skill that people learned maybe from their grandma or their mom growing up, or maybe from school, and it's just not being taught to kids anymore. And so there's this big disconnect about where the food's coming from and where it's going. There's people aren't seeing that the food's going from the farm and to the table. The food's going from a farm to be super hyper processed and then back to the consumer, and it doesn't seem like it's real. So I want people to have more of a connection to the food that they're eating, learn more skills about how to make that food, and just be able to nourish themselves without having to, be dependent on the big food bowl. So that's my main goal, and I wanted to be right here in this neighborhood. I'm in the North Side neighborhood in Chapel Hill. Super vibrant, cool place, you know, with all different kinds of people. We got the university over here. We've got the neighborhood. We've got the Green Bridge. We've got Graham Street with Al's Burgers and Sid's Hair and the Beer Study. So there's lots of foot traffic. There's lots of things going on. And I just wanted to be a part. I wanted to be here. So I feel like I'm accessible to the community. And we have classes, we have community events, we have pop-up dinners, we rent the place out for private events. And my main goal in the fall is to have another basic skills cooking class, which I did in the spring, free to community members. So I'm going to be starting that again in September. It's an 8-week series. We just kind of go through the basics and talk about cooking and how to feed yourself.
So this class, Gluten-Free World on a Table, Asian Takeout at Home, what is the date and the time for that?
The date is July 23rd. July 23rd. That's a Saturday. Yeah. 6 to 9 p.m.
Okay, and it's for. So who can come and how much does it cost?
It's $65. So that's you get all the instruction, all the food, and you get to sit down to a great meal at the end. And we're gonna have some. We're gonna pair it with some sake wine as well. So it's you get a full meal and you get to learn how to do all this great gluten-free cooking, which I know very little about. I mean, I'm kind of fascinated by this whole thing. You know, I just get so reliant on using white flour or just regular wheat flour to cook with. There's so many other different ways that are probably better for most people. So I'm excited about it. It's going to be really fun.
I will put a description, in the description of the show so that people can know more about the class and also the Midway Community Kitchen in Chapel Hill. So let's see what Hadassah prepared there.
Oh my goodness, look at that. I wish you could smell it. I mean,
I wish I could breathe that in.
Yes, you can really smell the sesame and the peppers and the tamari. It's just, sorry you can't be here, but I'm gonna have some.
So we're talking about cooking at home and cooking, in a more healthy way for our families. Is it cheaper to actually cook? Because I'm wondering if people are going to fast food because they're trying to save money. I get a sense that they're probably wasting money. What do you think?
I totally agree. I mean, I think they're wasting money on the front end because it's more expensive to pay for this, and you don't get as healthy of a product. You don't get to choose the vegetables and the meat and the ingredients. So it's cheaper to buy it in the first place. And in the long run, it's cheaper because you don't have to go to the doctor later because you've got heart disease or diabetes or, what's the old saying? Pay the grocer, not the doctor. That's where I put mine is in my groceries that I buy, hoping that it kind of makes me not have to go to the doctor later.
And I should also add, all of this is organic, non-GMO, as much local as possible. I wouldn't say that it's always more expensive, but it is not cheap. So to make sure that we have our, expenses covered, but also that everyone has a good time. And with gluten-free, it is really essential. That was another area that I didn't get into, but with non-GMO, you have a lot less chemicals. Organic, they can't have any chemical, no genetically modified organisms. And that's very important to the gluten-free community because of the fact that people with already intestinal damage, intestinal porosity, a lot of the chemicals in common food supply actually make that worse. So people who are gluten-free are looking at two things. They're looking at staying gluten-free, they're looking at staying healthy that way, but also not adding anything else into their diet that's unnecessary. So all of this is from local co-op, like Freebird, chicken, it's very high quality ingredients, things from the farmer's market. I keep it as much local and non-GMO organic as possible. So I think it's not just going to be a fun time, but also be healthy and delicious. It's going to be very important, I think, for our audience.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, thank you so very much, Hadassah Patterson, and also Kathy Dunn for being on the show. That was really wonderful. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
I hope you can come and see us in person sometime.
Oh, I will. And I wish you could save that food for me, but hopefully I'll get some food the next time the next time when I come visit you in person.
Yes, great.
Thanks, Patricia.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching, everybody. I will see you really soon. Ciao for now. Patricia A. Murray signing off, and I'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.